Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Steve from the Interrupted Outdoors, Interrupted Podcast. Got a cool episode for you today because we are sitting out here at the Total Archery Challenge in Seven Springs, PA. Got my buddies John Bennett and Steven Johnson with me, and we just finished day 2 of the TAC event, which has been pretty awesome. So, man, guys, thanks for sitting down and having a conversation.
For sure, man.
Yeah, man, it's been a great experience the last couple of days.
Heck yeah. Yeah, the first time out here, I mean, we planned this trip last year, and because of COVID, it unfortunately didn't happen. Did not happen, but we kept on, and I mean, following Total Archery Challenge, you know, just all their social media and this event that they've been putting on for several years now. I can't say I can sit here and tell you all the history about it, but man, they do an incredible job, and it's been pretty efficient and pretty easy to come out here and shoot this event.
Yeah, it's been really nice, and getting to check out 2 different courses. I believe there's 5 courses here. We signed up and we were able to shoot 2 of them while we were out here. So it's definitely been a cool experience, and got to really look at some interesting shots, and it's been a challenge for sure.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, if you're not viewing it on YouTube, I mean, we're sitting out here. It's a beautiful day. I mean, we hit perfect weather. I mean, today was a little bit warmer, about 80 degrees. It's about 5:20 at night. They're getting ready for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation after party here coming up at 5:30. John Dudley's out here with Nock on. I mean, PSC got a number of vendors out here. Just, you know, it's just a really cool event. I'm kind of blown away. Just everybody's willing to help, even the people that we saw up on the course. I mean, you got kids out here. Well, that young kid was probably 5.
Yeah, he's 5 years old.
And he was up there just slinging arrows and getting it done. So I don't know, Steven, what's your experience?
It was a blast. It really was. I felt like my conditioning could have been a little bit better. some elevation changes. Definitely a lot of walking, but it was a ton of fun. A lot more kids than I expected. A lot of different age ranges, I guess. Yeah. But it was I'll definitely do this again for sure.
Well, and I mean, just how they marketed this event you're shooting 3D archery up on the mountain, you're hiking, but it's not like a cutthroat tournament type deal. Mm-hmm. This is just a fun event that, you know, we put a little competition into it ourselves at times, but it's just out there seeing what you're capable of, seeing what the gear's capable of, and just having a good time outside, which after this past year, that has been refreshing.
And you couldn't ask for anybody better weather. It really was a smooth day. You know, cloud cover was good. It was shaded in a lot of the areas, and no rain. Little drizzle yesterday morning, but that's about it.
Yeah, not really any bugs either. I mean, I expected to have to deal with some bugs, but we didn't really have any bug issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what stands out for you, John, is like just a top of your head like takeaway from like the experience. You know, for all of us, this is the first time.
Yeah, for me, I just really liked how friendly and helpful everyone was. You know, you talked to some guys that shot at a particular target before you, and you know, some of them were really tricky and challenging and technical. There were some really technical shots.
Absolutely.
Even if they weren't that long, they were very technical. And you know, just getting advice and input from other guys. You know, they're willing to help and share, and you know, let you know what worked or didn't work. It's been that's been cool. And then just the variation in shots. You know, we did one of the longer courses yesterday, you know, with a knock-on course, and there's some, I think our longest shot was 100 yards maybe.
Yeah, just over, I think it was.
Just a little over 100 yards.
I did not hit it, by the way.
So,
I donated an arrow.
100 yards with some elevation going up. So.
Yeah.
The ram up in the quarry.
Yeah, I shot it in the ram horn, so that doesn't really, that's not a kill shot. But,
yeah.
But just the variation in the different challenges with shots. You know, you take that shot, which is very challenging, and then there's a 30-yard shot that's on the edge of a cliff, like with a 50-foot drop, and there's a window that's, you know, this big, and being able to, you know, vary between those two and have the setup for it. That was fun and tricky and challenging. So I like that.
Yeah. No, that was, I mean, do you have a favorite target that stood out from the knock-on course?
The one he just mentioned, I think, is my favorite because of the uniqueness of it and the view. And I shot well on that one target. So that always
the cliff one?
Yeah.
Wait, we might need to pause and talk about your setup. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much did you shoot before Total Archery Challenge?
3 days beforehand, I shot like 24 arrows, but it had been about a year and a half before that. So not great preparation on my part.
Your left right's been good.
Sure it has. Nock.
Trad flag.
I'll try to be a little more prepared next year, but even in spite of that, I mean, I had a ton of fun. I wasn't hitting every target, but I was still having fun. It was I mean, the way they do this event, from start to finish, the targets, the people that are involved in the registration and
efficiency,
even just the
yeah.
it was just an enjoyable an event to be at for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That stands out. Anytime you come to a large event where you got crowds and people moving through, and I appreciate the detail that they focused on to make things go smoothly. Absolutely, and it also stands to say, I mean, it's a point when people see this stuff or maybe see it advertised or hear about it on podcasts, whatever the case may be. And I mean, guess I should say we're not affiliated at all with this. This is just something that I'm fully behind supporting.
Yeah.
In terms of just getting people out and enjoying the outdoors in this kind of way. But I mean, for you, you've shot archery, you've hunted, but to take the time to set things up and get things ready. You came right in this just with I think the right attitude to say, hey, I'm going to come out here and sling some arrows and blow some arrows up on some rocks if need be.
Yeah, for sure, and definitely did that. Blew up several
We got
arrows.
A few, I think, good shots of you doing that.
Couple ricochets back and forth between some trees, and I absolutely would consider myself a novice. I mean, I'm brand new. I consider to archery. Haven't done much of it, so somebody as low as my level, and then some pretty darn good shooters out here.
Yeah, but how much did you learn about archery in 2 days?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the real time adjustments that you have to make, especially with my setup that I have, which is pretty low key. You learn to make those adjustments on the fly. If you're hunting, you're probably not going to have 14 other shots after the first one, but it was interesting to see. You said it before too. Is when you're doing archery, all your focus is on that task at that moment. So it's pretty cool to see the progression. I think I got a little better. I figured a few things out.
Yeah.
But it was fun no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that I think stands out the most to me is just learning all the cuts, being able to add and take off yardage based on elevation changes and, the slopes and how your equipment performs and how a yard matters.
Yeah.
When you're at home shooting in your backyard at the same target over and over and over again, you know it, your equipment so well, but then when you come out here and it's just you approach some of these targets and you're just guessing based off some of the other stuff, based on what you know and what you need to learn, and that was a huge takeaway for me that I think by the end, whether I was hitting the 12 ring or not, I can't say that I was that dialed in, but at least to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and hit a vital shot that in a hunting scenario would give a great opportunity to me, but and just also in the competitive side of you want to perform well, even at something like this, just for your own benefit, I guess.
Well, you're competing against yourself, and like Steven said, as a novice, you can come out here and have a great time, and want to hit the target essentially. But you could be in archery for 40 or 50 years and come out here and you're trying to hit 12s on really technical, difficult shots. So there's a challenge for everybody. I mean, like I said, we had a 5-year-old kid out here, shooting. I think he was shooting around 10 yards, but there's some elevation changes. That's still a tricky shot. Some of those shots at 10 yards, and he was having a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will, if my kids want to do it, I would absolutely bring them out here, and I look forward to doing that, even just to challenge them, because, I mean, there were times I was sucking wind, going up some of these inclines to pull arrows, and it definitely tests your fitness level, and I can only imagine some of these events that happen out west. I mean, the elevation here in the Appalachians is one thing, but
Rockies is a little different.
Yeah, when you take that out west, absolutely. So, no, I mean, John, what's your experience with archery?
Yeah, so I've been shooting a bow since I was probably 5 or 6, just kind of casually. And I've been bow hunting since I was 12 or 13. A lot of my family's into 3D. My cousin shoots. He's a pro. He's a free agent right now, but he's been with Prime and Matthews. He may end up going with PSE. A couple of my uncles have won, some of the IBO amateur shoots, and I mean, my family's really into it. And I've just always bow hunted, never really been into 3D. But coming out here, I mean, it's fun. I usually just shoot in the yard, and it's real casual. So it's kind of nice to come out here and have to step my game up a little bit.
Yeah.
And, get to maybe a lot of it in some of those cases. But yeah, it's been a really cool experience, and it's been enjoyable. What about? So I was going to ask you. You talked to Steven about what his favorite shot was. What about you? What was your favorite shot?
The one that still stands out. We talked this over and over again. Was that alligator across that lake? I mean, up on the Nock on course, there was this beautiful. Whatever staff member came up with that shot. I mean, they just laid it out perfectly. You're on the top of a mountain, a small, probably 2-acre lake, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 acre, probably an
Yeah.
acre lake with a little finger out in the center, and there was just a gator sitting there. I don't remember the exact yardage. I want to say it was between 50 and 60.
Yeah.
Is somewhere in between there. And I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, for me, archery is a reset. I look forward to it every time I can get out. I try and shoot multiple times a week. Not if I can get every day, I try to. Just even those 10 to 25 hours I get, it's to focus on that float, to focus on that pin, to focus on that target, to go through your shot progression, and to execute a shot. Just any stressors of life for me go away in that moment, and it's because you have to focus on that, and that's just. I don't know. That's where my head goes, and I look forward to that time. And to come out here, I would say the first thing that stands out in that vein of even mental health of it would be just extremely thankful for my wife, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, to be able to take all the kids and allow us to come out here and discuss. And so anyway, just to know that, hey, they're grinding right now, taking care of the kids, so we can be out here just doing something we enjoy to do is 100% have to mention that and appreciate that. But to come up here with some guys, and I mean, we had some fun joking around and carrying on, but also we had some serious conversation too as you walk around and just catch up with each other. And I think there's something important to that as men, and being task oriented, and we're out here solving a problem, so to speak, in terms of the archery. So that really stands out, and I feel very appreciative to have the opportunity to do that today.
Well, and on that point, you mentioned about the wives. We linked up with another gentleman yesterday. We were able to shoot with him, and single guy without wife and kids, and we ended up talking to him and saying, hey, we have several kids between the three of us. And he said, how are you guys even out here? You immediately said, because we have awesome wives.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely a huge component to be able to do this. So we're personally, that's our situation, and we were able to do that. It's huge. But getting the kids out here is certainly in the works. I loved it. Be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to get better before I can bring them out here. So I embarrass myself.
If they show you up, man, those 500 spines, man.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Listen, man.
You could actually probably donate to them to use.
They may just think Daddy's letting me win. Maybe that's what
exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, man.
No, it's really true. I mean, Seven Springs. This is my first time actually being on the resort here in PA, and I mean, they got something for everybody here, obviously. So I do hope the family can get out to this. But what did you learn, John, in terms of even as hunting season approaches, and there's whether we're thinking about whitetail or bear hunt coming up, I mean, do you have any takeaways even from doing something like this, how it actually serves to help in the archery realm?
Yeah, I think for me, a few takeaways. One is shooting a lot more shots out of my tree stand at different heights. One of the things that I'll put a little plug in for here is I've been looking at saddle hunting for a while now, and I hunt in the suburbs a lot, and I need to be able to move about and not have a permanent stand left up. So went and got a saddle. Was excited about the saddle, and I'm going to shoot that at a lot of different heights. Just because coming out here and the elevation change really can impact whether you're wounding an animal or having a vital kill shot.
Right.
So practicing at varying heights and distances and everything else is one of the things that I'm going to add. I mean, I've kind of sat the same tree stand, the same ladder stand. You sit in that, shoot at 30 yards or shoot at 40 yards, and that's it. Then you're good from your tree stand. But I want to add more steps to that. Has been a big takeaway for me. And then just working on your sight and really fine tuning it in. Getting your sight tape exactly how you want it and figuring that out, or your pins, if you're shooting with pins, exactly how you want those. And I just think that's something, just there's so many, it's like the first time you golf, right? If you've golfed before, you go out and you're just trying to hit the ball and get it close to the hole and eventually put it in the hole, right? And then as you golf more, you start to learn that there's flop shots and there's fades and draws and there's this whole other thing. And then what kind of clubs do you want and what kind of balls and, just so many other little technical things that can impact your game. So just getting in more of the technical side here than just, going out and, hunting behind the house. I'm excited at all the little variations, which will probably cost a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But excited to dive into those.
Yeah. Well, the technical side, I mean, the Yeti course that we shot today, those last 10 targets, man. I felt like it started off crazy with the elevation. We were on the main slopes shooting up at that Yeti, and I think there was a bear pretty high up. But then you got into the woods. But those last 10 shots, they were just technical. And I think it goes back to the training element of, when you push yourself hard in training, which is what this ultimately is, if you're a bow hunter as well, is if you can hit those shots and understand what your equipment can do in those moments, I mean, you hope that you can perform when it comes down to the adrenaline that's going to be involved in actually making a shot in an animal. But it was really cool. I mean, two of those shots stand out where, I mean, you were just seeing maybe a marginal hit on our area on those vitals and dropping it over a log or the pressure of knowing that if you miss that $15 arrow, it's gone.
You're gone. Yep.
That's why I go with $2.50 arrows.
That is a strategy.
And you switched up gear a little bit from yesterday to today, but we went to a shorter course. And I had to make a couple adjustments, and but that's you're probably going to be hunting with the same arrows, absolutely.
But that wasn't my case today, so or this week, a weekend I'll say that, but
you shot really significantly better today, though.
Yeah, I mean,
you were like
helps.
gap shooting. You're like,
I was,
think this
exactly.
might work
it was
out.
a lot of guessing today. Yesterday, there was some guessing too. Today, still a lot of guessing because pin stayed. I was just using a different arrow and then trying to make it work. But
but in the scoring rings, I think you had the best shot. You had that 112.
You had a clean 12.
That nice. It was just right on the X. I mean, that was.
Yeah, I think with the overall score of the day, I can't really take credit for it. It was kind of must have been a fluke thing, but yeah, you know what there were definitely some technical shots towards the end. Yeah, you're hitting low, you're into a stump, you're over top, and it's going over that ridge, and it's going another 80, 100 yards.
Yeah, you're losing your arrow.
It's gone.
Yeah. No. What do you think we look to next year? I mean, how would you want to challenge yourself, whether it be gear or the course or different TAC events? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I want to try the Sitka course. It's either the longest or second longest course here. Nock was cool. It was pretty long and challenging. But I want to try Sitka next year. I definitely think is something to go for. And, I don't know. It just seemed – I like – today was cool. We shot a course. Most of the shots were 40 to 65, 70. I mean, for the most part, other than the first couple with the Yeti. And the bear, but yesterday, I mean, there was a lot of 80 to 100-yard shots, and a little more elevation change, I would say, yesterday. And I believe Sitka's the same, so I just want that challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, what's weird for me when I think about my evolution of archery is, I mean, for so many years, I've talked about this on the show before. When I got into bow hunting, it was just I had a bow. It was a tool that I would go out and just used to hunt. I'd make sure I was sighted in, almost like you zero in a rifle. Okay, the equipment's good, and go out. But when you actually get down into the most technical of details, that's what becomes more interesting.
Yeah.
And I think the appeal even here is, he's gets a ton of credit. I was just about to talk about this guy, and look at him approaching. Mr. John Dudley, everybody. Mr. John, jump on. I was just, man, that couldn't be more well-timed.
Fire me up.
You're on.
Am I on? We good?
Yeah. Welcome to the Interrupted podcast, Interrupted Outdoors.
Hey,
Mr. John Dudley.
I interrupted it.
That was fitting.
Didn't interrupt it. Well,
I have 4 minutes before I have to go to Rocky
4
Mountain
minutes.
Elk
All right.
Foundation, so
it's
fire away.
Awesome event.
What'd you guys think? What'd you think?
It was
great.
Incredible. The gator over the lake on the Nock on course, that pristine.
That was a great shot. And that cliff shot was a cool shot, too.
Yeah,
you know?
it was. It was. It wasn't like super far, but that's what's cool about the course is every target offered a different type of technicality. Some offered psych outs, just tight lanes, but the entire vital was wide open. You just had to get rid of tunnel vision. Yeah. And then just like a par 3 where you got a green out.
Right.
That was
you get in your own head.
That was the gator. You're like, don't shoot the. Isn't it amazing how many people shot low on the gator so they could shoot the rocks instead of the water?
Yep.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. What did you learn at Seven Springs this year? Of all your knowledge and years of experience, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway: don't forget your sun lotion.
Okay.
You remember in Tommy Boy where you said it doesn't hurt up here or down here, but right here?
Yep.
That was funny.
I don't know. I think honestly, the takeaway would be don't ever forget left-handed products. There's more left-handed people here than anywhere in the world, which is weird.
Huh.
And I don't know. This is like the heartland of bow hunting. You always know Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan are they're the nucleus of bow hunting. But when you come here and you start driving down these roads to get here, you just realize this is whitetail. This is where whitetail hunting just started. And then when you get in there, there's just the mystique in the timber and just the moss and the rocks, and you're waiting for Mel Gibson to come running out with a freaking hatchet at you. Right? I mean,
you're not lying there.
That is what's so cool about it. So I've had a great time, and honestly just overwhelmed with how many people just really are out here for fun. And that, to me, that's just I'll keep mashing the gas on, the funner we can make archery, the better off archery is going to be for the long run.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, sir, I thank you for.
I apologize I have to jet.
No, thank you for what you've done.
I appreciate it.
Hey, can we snag a picture here?
Heck yeah. Give it to me, dude. My arm's 3 times longer.
Oh, there you go.
Might have to switch it up there.
Yeah, let me flip it.
What is your draw length? We were curious.
45.
Good deal.
There it is.
Awesome. Hey.
No, it's 31.
Thank you for what you're doing for archery, man. And,
thank you guys.
Thanks again, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, take care. Thanks for jumping on. So, well, it was timed up perfect with John Dudley stopping by here for a second, which is pretty cool. He's a busy man in these schedules. But where I was going with my original conversation was the technical side of archery I didn't get into until I kind of really started following him, because he's taken what seemed like such a complex, and there is complexity to it, but he's made it available to so many people. And I'm incredibly grateful for that, because I've always wondered about it, but I thought, man, I'm not a bow tech. I didn't go to a bow tech school. I don't have a press. I don't have this gear. And because he gives back to the sport and the industry so much for free. I mean, it's all his videos. He just wants people to succeed and enjoy this sport that he loves so dearly. And because of that, it caused me to learn, right, and knowledge. I mean, I love that about social media, about any platform that people are willing to give to freely. And it's free education, man. Yeah. And that's what he's doing for the sport. So because of that, to be up here and be like, I built my arrows. Yeah. I set up my bow. I tuned my bow. And, man, I got a long way to go. But I got to do all of those things. And now I'm up here shooting, and I'm hitting the target. Yeah. And you get that feedback when you hear that, foam hit. And it's exciting, man. It's invigorating. It's like, cool, I did that. I accomplished, what I was setting out to do. So man, it's I don't know what your guys experience in different sports or whether it's archery or something, but when you can have what's the word for it, a champion for a sport or an ambassador like he is for archery, and then you get to be out here, meet him. He's out here just talking to people, tuning people's bows and giving them tips and just laughing with them. And
I heard him yesterday offer. He said, I'll bring a release tomorrow. Hey, if I think about it, I'll bring a release, like willing to lend his gear to somebody for the day. He said it, making it more fun. You're going to do something if you enjoy it more, and he's out here giving out free lessons, like just not pushing anybody. He's talking to everybody all day long. And I'm thinking about somebody else that's at the top of their sport. Won't mention any names, but they're not as approachable. And he is.
That's exactly it.
Well, and besides just being extremely talented and skilled at shooting a bow, I think the mark of a true expert teacher is somebody that can take something that seems complicated and simplify it.
Exactly.
So it's really easy to understand.
Perfectly said. Yeah, and no, he does that. And I mean, the few industry people that are here, they are so willing, and that approachability that you guys are talking about is what makes stuff like this fun. I mean, you can chase after a number of passions or athletics or it's just you can see these guys have put their heart and soul. Most of the companies here are guys that have just set out, be like, I believe that my idea, my product can help either the sport of archery or hunting, and they've put their life into it, and you can hear the passion behind that. And to be part of a community like this, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's where I want to choose to spend my time.
Yeah, and what I was saying earlier about with the kids, it's such I think he's saying more fun, not just for adults, but for kids too. And it is a family-friendly environment. I hardly heard any complaining. Like, everybody's super positive. There's a couple different, I heard a few different issues, but very minimal. Everybody is positive, willing to help somebody else, telling somebody, hey, I was getting this range on that target, whatever. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah,
it was
in an incredible way.
Well, I will jump in with something. So, on a side note, other than being here at the Total Archery Challenge, we won't say the name of the establishment, but we got to have a pretty interesting experience last night.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
At a place that we booked it, and it looked really great online. Right, there's really good pictures, and then we went there and we had to stay off-site, off-property, and we're three guys, hunters. We've stayed in some pretty rough conditions, but we weren't staying in this place. We weren't staying in this place. So that was late. That was after Steven got lost because I drove too fast, and we had a.
Some people can't keep up.
Yeah. So
we
probably drove 15. We probably drove 15 minutes without realizing that he wasn't behind us. So that wasn't the greatest thing, but we ended up in a hotel and it was good, and we got some maybe decent sleep. But that was that stuff like that makes trips like this a lot.
That's
of fun,
a memory.
Right? You know what I mean? That's a good memory. You know what I mean?
And I'll segue from that, saying adversely, you're saying the pictures in that from that place did not do it justice. It was the opposite. It wasn't as great as the pictures. If people haven't done this event and people are looking at videos and pictures that people are posting on social media, like it doesn't do it justice. You know that from just the nature. To experience this, it is really, really cool event. I mean, it just doesn't do it justice to be able to just look at things and try to figure out, hey, do I want to do that next year? I would absolutely say, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
And this comes from somebody who doesn't even shoot archery that much.
Well, and you don't have to be a hunter, right?
No.
I mean, you don't have to hunt.
Absolutely.
That's a very valid point.
You can come here if you just want to shoot competitive archery or just shoot archery for fun. Maybe you watched, what's the movie with Katniss Everdeen in it?
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, right?
Yeah,
maybe you watch Hunger Games or something else, and there's archery, and you're interested, and I know the movie's been out for a few years, but you want to come shoot. Or Brave, Brave's a great Disney movie, and bring your kids out here, your family out here, and shoot. I think there was even a few people that were just hiking.
Yeah, just going through the course, watching. Spectate. There were some people that would just, I don't know if it was a spouse or girlfriend or whatever, or vice versa. Just people up here just kind of following along, watching the targets, and it's
great exercise. Even if you're just walking the course.
I think yesterday we the Nock on course was around 6.8 miles or something like that.
Okay,
like 87 stories, I think, is what the guy with us said that we hiked on that. So, but what was cool, kind of going back to that, is there was a lot of women out here shooting too.
Yeah.
Which was cool. There was a really really good representation there. So that was nice to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in many cases, I'm sure they shoot way better than the guys.
Yeah,
they can just,
I agree.
They can take information and just and convert it to execution. I think because we get too stubborn and think that they just the women just listen so well, and it was really cool to just see any every age. Men and women out here doing it. And, for those of you who listen, I know it sounds like we're kind of harping on it, but I think it just stands out so much that that's what this event is.
Yeah.
And because of the community, how it brings everybody together, that is just a massive takeaway for something like this. And to do that with good friends, I couldn't ask for more in these, 36 hours or so that being up here at an event like this.
It was cool too to see people from different states. I mean, this is we're kind of west central Pennsylvania here, more western PA here, but I counted people from New Jersey, New York, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware that came to this shoot. I'm sure there's people from other places too, but just going around here, we had a group behind us yesterday from Long Island. They were a pretty lively group, but that was pretty cool. We got to hear the Long Island accents and everything else. But they were out here and they were slinging some arrows, man, and they were having a good time.
Yeah, and that's not just from looking at license plates in the parking lot. Everybody's usually asking, "Hey, where are you from?" To go back to the incredibly social atmosphere.
Yeah. How many times did you guys think about COVID up here? I mean, the year we just lived through.
Yeah.
I mean, it just not that people were being reckless with precautions.
No.
That's not my point. Where there needed to be precautions, there were.
Sure.
But it was so nice. There was a major sense of normalcy in what was happening out here. So shout out to Seven Springs for doing what needed to happen to make this event go on. And the one last thing I want to bring out, and again, not sponsored by any of these folks, but last night the event, there was a ton of money raised by the Black Rifle Coffee Company. They did an after party last night, and we got to see a ton of money raised for veterans, different groups within them that they support and take care of, and they're a massive sponsor of Total Archery Challenge. Yeah. So to realize that all these companies that come together to do something like this really, I don't know, whether it's just instills hope in you or just it's exciting to see that. It's just leaves a very positive taste, in my mouth when I think about who I choose to spend my time with and where I choose to put my money.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Even things for the podcast and for Interrupted Outdoors, it's easy to make the decision to support things like this.
It is. And it was really cool last night with the Black Rifle Coffee Company's nonprofit. They're giving checks every month to a veteran-owned organization, and they gave a check for $5,000 last night to the guy who owns Jacked Gear.
Yeah.
And he was here. They kind of suckered him in to stay in for that. He had no idea. He had no idea he was going to get it.
That.
But it was cool to see. He got that check to help his company out, and I think he said he has 15 veterans that are working for him now. So it's just a really, it's a really exciting thing to see that.
No, cool to be able to. I bought a bow sling from him today,
Yeah.
and he's just another example of people that are willing to sit and talk. And all this to say, as we kind of wrap things up here, is I can't encourage anybody enough to take the time, whether it be getting out with a group of guys or a group of girls or bringing the family out, find an event like this in the outdoors, away from technology. I mean, as I say that, there's a lot of technology here in the gear that we have.
Sure.
and things, but is kind of breaking it down that there's just a connection and you can build relationships very quickly with people out here and deepen relationships with people. And I think at the end of the day, for me, that's where I ultimately land. I'm taking a sport that I'm passionate about and then trying to do that with people I care about and at the end, that's what make the memory, create the legacy. I know that I want to bring my children here so they can experience something like this. And at the end of the day, that's what the Interrupted, whether it be the general podcast, Interrupted Outdoors, anything, that's just a motto that it breaks up kind of the mundane and it's a reset. And that's very much so what this has been for a few days. I can go back to work and back into parenting and discipline and my own goals, and I feel like, okay, like that's exactly what I needed, and I understand why I do things a lot more.
Yeah, well, and I think, looking at the whole mantra of the Interrupted podcast, there's a lot of interruptions that we've talked about that happen that are negative, right? And you have to react to. But I think it's really important to be intentional and put positive interruptions in your life. Like this for us was, I think it was much needed for me personally to get out here and spend some time with some really solid quality guys that I know and enjoy being with. But being intentional about getting family out here next year, I think, is something that's a good interruption to have in our regular everyday life, to do something like that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I said it, and I believe there was once I think I looked at a message on my watch that came through, but I put my work phone away.
Yeah.
And I had my personal one out a little bit for doing social media stuff and just, stuff for Interrupted, but in general, it's like I looked at my phone a couple times, saw a call coming in, and just put it back in the pack. I was like, that's not what this time is about. And that takes away from our relationships. It takes away from me being fully immersed in what's going on here. And I think more people need to do that, where it is a discipline because we're so attached to these things and we're so attached to work. And to realize that because I was here, nothing stopped at work. Were there problems? I don't know. I'll deal with it when they come back, and that's part of, managing and trusting people. And there's so many lessons that you can extract if you want to get super existential, I guess. But it stands to reason that there's an intentionality to life that I try and live and want other people to live by, and surround myself like guys like you that challenge me in a really good way. And, that's kind of where the place and season in life that I am right now that I enjoy being in. So that's really cool.
No, I agree.
So final thoughts, guys. What are you sending people away with?
You mentioned like the outdoor stuff. I'm trying to think of other things that would have the same kind of community that this has. And this is my first archery event like ever. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a lot to compare it to, but archery, this event, it is really cool beyond just pulling back a bow and slinging an arrow.
Yep.
And because it really feels like, I want to be a part of this thing. So this event did a really good job of making people want to do it more, right? And some interruptions are not planned. But this one is one that I think, might be good to break away from work and kind of the grind to kind of reconnect with, nature. And it was just it was all around positive experience. Doing that with you guys, good friends of mine, and it was that I can't ask for anything more. It was awesome.
Well said. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed just getting to bond with you guys. They say that men typically bond through doing activities together. Because if you're doing activities together, you're bound to talk about, stupid stuff sometimes too, but also important life stuff that's going on. And I think it was really important to just come here and bond. And, for everyone listening, I mean, we live in, different parts of the country, Pittsburgh, the Eastern Shore of Maryland, outside Baltimore. So we're not that close together, but you have an event like this, and like I named all the states that people are coming from, it's a good excuse to get together with some friends that you may have that, maybe don't live next door or, in the same town, to come out and travel somewhere like this together and just bond. Whether it's just a couple guys or, you and your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, or family, just getting out here and bonding together, I think is a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down today and have this conversation after a long day on the mountain.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to just sit out here and reflect on it. I think there's something to be said for that when you do something like this, not just jump in your car and go away and go back to the rush, but I mean, even breaking this down for 40 minutes of our takeaways from it, that's also important, man. It's this kind of like an informal debriefing of what we did this weekend, and that's something maybe as whether you're on a family vacation or just out with some people and be serious for a minute and talk about it. And I think it'll etch itself. I'll remember sitting here at this picnic table on this patio in front of, all the vendors under the mountain doing a podcast with you guys just as much as some of the shots. That's just something that is cool. So anyway, it's cool to be here, sitting here, having this conversation. So thanks everybody for tuning in to this episode. Definitely go to Total Archery Challenge. Check out these events. They happen all over the country, and they're worthwhile to come to, whether you have been shooting for years or whether you want to get into archery. There's a way to do it. Access is available, and it's a worthwhile thing. So we'll be seeing you real soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Interrupted Podcast and Interrupted Outdoors episode. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.